Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining this session about the School of Engineering and Physical Science of Queen's University Belfast. My name is Fernanda Galarraga and I am part of Innova Education. In case you don't know us, we can help you with your application process to Queen's University Belfast. We can also guide you through the different scholarship options and help you with your visa process. And all of this guidance is for free. We would appreciate if you can please turn off your microphones and your cameras as well. You can write all your questions in the chat box and we will answer them in the end. Here with us today is Anna Little from the Engineering and Physical Science Faculty of Queen's University Belfast. Here with us today is also Simon Turrington, Regional Manager of Latin America, and two students who will be sharing their personal experience studying in the School of Engineering at Queen's. So thank you so much, guys, for being with us today, and I leave the presentation to you.
Hi guys, thanks so much, Fernanda. Let me know if there's any issues, if you can't see my screen or if you can't hear me properly. I'm not totally sure on this platform. First off, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Anna, as Fernanda says, and I am from the Faculty of Engineering and Physical Sciences at Queen's University Belfast. I hope where all of you are safe and healthy. And again, it is an absolute pleasure to introduce Queen's to you today, whether you've heard of us before, whether you have already made an application to us, or whether this is your first time hearing about Queen's. So I'm just going to spend the first 10 minutes presenting Queen's in general to you, and then I'm going to pass across to one of our PhD researchers, Shree, who's going to present some of her research to you from the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, and then I'm going to cross over to Temi, who is going to talk to you about cybersecurity. The idea today is just to give you guys a bit of an idea around the standard of research and the standard of education that we have at Queen's, the sort of things that we are interested in, and then I can give you a bit more practical understanding around the entry requirements, the application process, scholarships, and please feel free to ask any questions and we will get back to those at the end today. So first off, I know most of you will probably already know, but Queen's is situated in Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. We are the capital of Northern Ireland, and while we are an island, we still very much are connected to the rest of the UK and connected to the rest of Europe. We have over 30 daily crossings to one of the major European cities or major UK cities a day from Belfast, and we also have over 100 weekly crossings to a number of the major European cities as well in Europe. We have constant buses going down to Dublin, which is an international university or an international city, and it has daily crossings to the east coast of the United States and as well Mexico City, where I know a lot of you are joining us today. So Queen's, whilst it is a Russell Group university, it's actually a very small university, and Belfast is a very small city, and Northern Ireland has a very small population. I know that Mexico City has a population of about 27 million. We have a population total in the whole country of 1.8 million. And as well as that, we have a city population of around 250,000. So while we are a small city, we're also a very compact city. But it also means that because we are the only Russell Group university within Northern Ireland and one of 23 Russell Group universities within the UK, we really do stand out, and employers are always looking directly to Queen's for employment because there are no other Russell Group universities and therefore no other students with the same caliber or graduates of the same caliber graduating and seeking employment. So a little bit about Belfast, if you don't already know. Belfast is, as I said, it's the political capital of Northern Ireland, but as well as that, it's a really lovely city to be in. It's a really small city. International students find it very easy to walk around and feel at home and know where they're going quite quickly. As well as that, we have become a really large tourist destination, obviously not this year. But because we do have quite an interesting history, and it's got a big art scene and There's a number of different festivals going on, science festivals, arts festivals, film festivals, poetry festivals, and political festivals as well. There is a lot happening in the city. It's very vibrant. It's got a lot of really interesting pubs, bars, and a really interesting literacy past as well. So we were ranked one of the Lonely Planet and The Guardian and Observer, which are big publications here in the UK, a must-visit city, and also as that as well, a must-visit country. Always important as well to know is that we are ranked within the top safest cities within the UK. So it's very easy to take taxis at night. It's very easy to walk alone and walk around different areas as well at night as well. And to use public transport and just generally to be in. It's easy and it's pleasant and it's safe. Always important for students. We're ranked the lowest cost of living city within the UK. So that includes the tuition for a Russell Group University. We have some of the most competitive tuition fees for a Russell Group University within the UK, but as well as that, rent prices, transportation, and just general maintenance as well. So moving across then to Queen's, some rankings. We are ranked, with a Russell Group University. For those of you who don't know, I know you may be more au fait with the US higher education system. So if you do know the Ivy League, the Russell Group University is comparable in the UK to the US Ivy Leagues. So other universities that you would see within this Russell Group are, there's 24 in total, Oxford, Cambridge and University College London, Imperial College London, but as well as that University of Glasgow, University of Newcastle, University of Manchester, and then Queen's Belfast as well. The Russell Group universities all have a collective interest in globally reaching and impactful research, and as well as that teaching excellence. Queen's was ranked 75th in Europe for teaching excellence and 25th in the world for our international outlook. So that includes the different connections that our research has across different other higher education systems globally. And Queen's as well was also ranked 8th within the UK for research intensity. So the amount of academic output and research output our academics have. So something that Queen's does is that a lot of Russell Group universities are excellent research universities, but Queen's is an excellent research university, but it's also an excellent teaching university as well. As I was saying, we have a very small university population, 24,000 students, and 3,000 of those are international students from 86 different countries. And this is growing every single year. We have students right from around the world. Tenny with me today is from Nigeria and Anushree is from India. We also have students that have come from Colombia, Argentina, Cuba, right across South Asia, right across Southeast Asia, and of course, China, Hong Kong. We're also ranked as one of the most pleasant and beautiful campuses to be on, which is always pleasant and nice to be in a creative and enjoyable and harmonious environment. And we're also the 9th oldest university within the UK. So some of you may know Game of Thrones. This is just a little bit around the built-in or the natural and rural environment around Belfast. So as I was saying, Belfast is a really small city, and it's very easy to leave the city by public or private transport. You can be out in nature in anything from 10 to 15 minutes and further afield. Northern Ireland and Ireland in general, as I'm sure you know, is very famous for our very green, beautiful rural environment, and that became very famous on the TV show Game of Thrones, which was filmed here. So these next couple of photos just really show you the sort of environment that Belfast is in and that Queen's is in, and what did become famous on the show is really what it looks like in real life. And our film, something about Belfast is that we have a really booming film and TV and media industry here. So then finally, moving across before I pass across to the students is to introduce to you the Faculty of Engineering and Physical Sciences. Sorry, make sure my video was on. So we are all from the Faculty of Engineering and Physical Sciences, and the postgraduate courses that I would like to talk to you are all housed within the Faculty of Engineering and Physical Sciences. You can see here there's 6 different schools within the faculty that make up the faculty, and we offer one of 16 postgraduate courses within one of these schools as well. I'm talking to you today about mainly engineering and courses that are closely related to engineering. So you can see here, Queen's has a very highly ranked engineering schools right across the faculty and just in general. Queen's has some of the oldest schools of engineering within the UK. We have engineering that are very traditional areas of engineering and disciplines of engineering, and as well we're also excelling in our rankings in those more contemporary areas of engineering as well. Another ranking which will be interesting to you guys, as I know the majority of you are postgraduate students, is our graduate prospects. So one thing that Queen's does really well, as I was saying, was the teaching and the research. But the reason our teaching is so highly ranked in Europe is because every single one of our postgraduate courses is developed and created alongside a number of industry professionals and industrial boards who come in and they consult with our academics to develop different modules. And that really means that our graduates are graduating with the skills that employers are looking for, where there are skills gaps, and the graduates are filling skills where there are skills gaps. So that's one of the reasons why so many of our courses have a close to 100% employability ranking or graduate prospect ranking. And hopefully that will come across to you today whenever I can show you the sort of number of industrial links that we do have on each of our courses. Before I pass across then, I would just like to take you on a little bit of an insight into the different facilities that we have. So one of these schools, which is actually the school that Temi is situated in, is the School of Computer Science and Electronic and Electrical Engineering. This is a massively booming industry within Northern Ireland. And this next video can show you why there has been such large investments in the Queen's facilities in this area in particular. Hopefully it plays okay for you. I'll just wait for that to start playing. It might be a little juddery, so the quality won't be great on your end. But what you can really see here is that it doesn't look like a traditional lecture theatre. There's actually only 2 lecture theatres within this building, and the reason being is that we really encourage and we really foster that creative learning and the group learning, problem solving, support, peer support culture within the school. And this goes right across all of our courses. The biggest spaces in this is actually our computer labs, and the reason being is that the majority of the time is spent here really working through and applying knowledge that is worked with that is taken up within your lectures. And before I pass across to then, as I did mention, there is a number of really strong industry links that Queen's does have with the university and with the local industry. And the reason being, again, is because Queen's is the only Russell Group university within Northern Ireland. So when employers are looking to match with and partner up with a university, they're going to always look to Queen's in the first instance. All of our schools have a number of really strong industry partners, whether they be local startups, old Queen's spin-out companies, startup companies, or some of the biggest transnational corporations as well. There's been a number of different investments made from global transnational and corporate organizations. And again, a number of our different industrial links are both within the consultancy side of things and within the contractual engineering side of things as well. A little bit before I pass across on the employment sort of environment and as well the employment links that Queen's had. So as I was saying, the majority of the companies do always link with Queen's, but just to give you a bit of an idea, in the last 5 years, there has been more than 6,000 jobs made within Northern Ireland in the tech and IT sector. and there's been over 700 companies that have invested here, and over 70% of those companies have reinvested here. The fact that so many companies have reinvested here really does reflect how profitable and successful investing in Northern Ireland has been in the first instance. This is because our government is very entrepreneurial, with a number of different economic and entrepreneurial policies that are in place to really welcome investors. And we also have a really growing, exciting startup culture here. So there's a number of different Queen's spin-out companies and just startups in general that do exist here. As well as that, and I'm sure Tammy will discuss this potentially, Queen's was ranked listed the Centre of European Teaching Excellence for Cybersecurity as well. Knowledge transfer partnerships. So if you don't know what these are where our students match with companies, and the student becomes the consultant. Companies come to Queen's with a problem, and then we then match them with a student who's able to help them work through that problem. And as you can see here, the majority of our faculty, or the majority of Queen's knowledge transfer partnerships are in our faculty. And as well as that, Queen's is the #1 in the UK for knowledge transfer partnerships, which again just really reflects the strength of the local industry that we do have. I am now going to stop sharing, and I'm going to pass across to Tammy, who's going to give you a brief, more interesting, probably 10 minutes on to give you a bit of an idea around cybersecurity in Queen's.
All right, thank you, Anna. I'm sure you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. It's good.
All right, thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. So I'll just be going through a very quick presentation. All right. Just a quick short introduction. My name is Temiloluwa Jokotala. As Anna mentioned, I'm from Nigeria. I'm a cybersecurity student at Queen's. Have a computer engineering background. I'm a penetration tester, information security analyst, consultant when I need to be. I have 3 years security experience, industry security experience. You know, some of my certifications are there, and I previously have industry experience with Deloitte and KPMG. So for our cybersecurity module at Queen's, I mean, it encompasses software assurance, data, law, privacy. You know, and everyone is talking about GDPR becoming a very big thing, penetration testing and ethical hacking, computer forensics, network security and monitoring. A lot of data now is being generated, and it's important for us to have insights into the data we're generating. Applied cryptography, majorly this focuses on encryption. Now there's a lot of hacks going on here and there, so that focuses on that. So basically, I'll just be giving us a quick one on one of the projects in the ethical hacking module. So basically, as I mentioned, we have the CSIT and the ECIT Center, which has been heavily invested in. I mean, a lot of facilities, research going on there, and as a school and as a course, it's important we generate insight into the enormous data being generated daily. And for the people or the guys making the decisions, these are the C-level guys, the management. So we try, a lot to bring this data, collapse it, and make sense in 1-2 slides. As an executive, when I see something regarding the data of my organization, I should be able to say, oh, this is where I stand, or this is, this is an area of improvement. So for penetration testing, generally an average penetration tester would use tools like Nessus, Qualys, Kinetics, Nmap, to generate data. And then when this data is generated, we have more of a cybersecurity domain that covers also. What we see currently is an assessment of an organization, that determines, okay, where are the strong points, where are the areas they need to improve. So as an executive, as a director of a company, once I look at this, I know, okay, once I see where I see green, those are the areas where, okay, we're doing very well. Where I see blue, that's where we are probably average. And when I see red, I know those are the places, we need to, cover. So this basically gives an ideal cybersecurity, from a cybersecurity standpoint, what you should be looking at. You're looking at senior management, covering governance, operations, your risk assessment, your patch management, identity and access management, physical security. So physical security, your access card, things like that, that people have control over. Third party risk management or outsourcing. Now every platform is integrated. Almost every now and then you integrate or you purchase things online. You're probably buying your card, buying stuff online with your card. So there's a lot of third-party management, security incident response. So if there's an issue, if there's a potential attack from the bad guys, how do we respond? Do we even have a policy that attests to that? So basically, this covers what an ideal organization would look at. So generally you should be able to categorize. As a C-level guy, once I have an issue from the technical guy or the engineers in the field, look at it, I should be able to say, okay, this is high, this is medium, this is low classification, so I know where to channel my efforts. And so I'll be giving a quick case study, just 2 case studies. So for vulnerability scanning, so basically every organization, everyone on this platform, in this webinar currently, we are probably logging on using a mobile device. I want to believe most people are using workstations or computers. So basically, this gives an insight into what the amount of data we're generating. So as an organization, I should be able to say, okay, I have 500 servers. This basically says in an organization, this is Windows Server 2000, which is obviously outdated. It just gives dashboards generally give a crash down. It just crashes everything down into, it makes decision making process quicker and easier. So basically, this is the insight that can be drawn from this. A lot of people can basically do this from Excel, using Excel, or there are new tools now, Power BI and all that. But again, it's not just about the dashboard, it's also about the process in which we come about the insight. So we have a lot of processes where we have to clean, sanitize the data, and things that may seem basic, but loopholes here and there can make or mar decisions for the big guys, as it were. So just a quick one. So for power, so can you just confirm if you can see this? All right, I believe you can.
Yeah,
so this is just a quick demonstration. So this basically is one of the projects for a financial organization. So let me just say a bank where we all keep our save our money. So basically this shows the number of servers they have, number of workstations, the number of unique servers, number of ATMs, number of routers. This basically gives an impact. As a C-level guy, I'm concerned, okay, if there's a breach, what is the impact? I'm not really concerned about, okay, a particular system. So if there's still this system of someone in HR, I might not be as concerned as the system of someone in my IT being compromised. So basically this gives an overview. This was created using Power BI, so make it interactive as much as possible. This can be integrated into your SIM, where you have the guys in the SOC, monitoring this for alerts and triggers and all that. So basically, this gives an insight. Once I click on the critical, it brings out basically it gives you insight. So it's more interactive. It gives you idea on end of life devices. There are some devices that will probably reach the end of life very soon. So as an executive, you basically want to have a sense of what is going on in the background of your environment, and the nitty gritty, the IP addresses and all the stuff. You just want to look at the dashboard that makes sense. I click here and it gives me more information. This says missing patches and updates, insecure services. So basically you want to know at a glance what percentage of insecure services, it's basically interacting and making sense of the data. Again, that's the technology aspect. So a lot of times focus on technology while neglecting the people part, because as much as possible the technology can be very effective, but if people don't have the necessary information security awareness, then they make blunders of this technology that's been put in place. So basically we also go through things around security awareness for organizations. So there are basically 3 stages. We create simulations. Apologies, I'm rushing. So we create simulations, try to understand, are people aware? I want to believe, at some point in this lockdown period, we've all received, mails or saying, click here, or you purchased an order that needs to be cancelled, make extra payments using this link. Phishing mails, basically social engineering, becoming, the order of the day in virtually every industry. So basically what we do is we create phishing scenarios. So for this scenario, basically, you have there are so many things going on in the background. This coming also from software assurance. It creates your fake, as it were, login pages, trying to understand, okay, these are the simulation, but just trying to understand the user awareness for organizations and industry. So after that is done, you probably create a training, and once the training is done, again, you need to reassess people, because you can have the best technology. I promise you can have the best technology, and someone just mistakenly drops his or her ID card, and a bad guy has access to that and is able to compromise everything. So technology, yes, but again, we also focus on the people side. So in creating security awareness, for now, these are part of things we look at. Email security, because that's really what is going on now. Media handling, password security. Human beings are generally very lazy, so we look at, okay, how do we balance security and usability, because really security is for the people, and when you make it too tedious, people tend to bypass naturally because we are lazy as humans. So basically, this just gives an overview into what we look at when we look considering the people aspect. And all right, thank you very much. I'm sure I did a minute over my time, but basically, cybersecurity at Queen's, encompasses, things that you would typically not find. And for me, coming back from the industry has really been, helpful, because it helps you balance, looking at it from a potential employer and, from an employee perspective. Queen creates that perfect balance for you, bringing in all the things you need: the bit of software, the bit of law, data privacy, the bit of cryptography, the bit of penetration testing. So in making a decision, I believe this Coins is also I mean, the applied cybersecurity module of Coins is something you should consider, and generally all the other courses in the school, because as Anna already mentioned, they all encompass what you need to be an excellent employee in the future, and an employer of labor. So yeah, we intend to be a dependent, an employee, and all that. So if you want to contact me, that's my email, that's my LinkedIn profile. I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Temi. Wish I could say I understood all of that, guys. I don't have an engineering or a mathsy background. If any of you guys are interested in the cybersecurity masters, I would be more than happy, just after we hear from Shree, to talk to you about the entry requirements and sort of what sort of students we are looking for. It's an extremely prestigious masters. We do look for students with really strong academic backgrounds, but I can give you more details on that after. So the next, we're going to have Shree, who's a PhD researcher. Shree's from India, and she joined us in her first PhD year this year. So she will be with us for another while longer. And I'll let her talk about her area. It's a really interesting area of mechanical engineering, and it's also great that she's a woman in engineering as well, which is something that we really like to promote at Queen's. So thank you, Shree.
Thank you, Anna, and hello to everyone. Just going to share a little presentation of mine. I hope that's visible.
Yes,
that's
we can.
Perfect, we can see.
Okay. So my name is Shree. I am a first year PhD student at the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. So a little about me and my background. I have done my bachelor's and my master's in mechanical engineering in India, and I completed my master's degree last year in July 2020, and I flew down to Belfast in September 2020 to join my PhD program, and it's been about 9, 10 months almost, and I've just had the most wonderful time at Belfast. One thing I could relate to as a girl, especially to what Anna said about safety. Of late, I have been doing a couple of my experiments that go on till 10 p.m. in the night because they are time-based experiments, and I need to collect samples say every half an hour for 7 hours. Um, so at 10 p.m., I walk back from the university or my lab back home, um, like perfectly fine. I've never faced anything, and there are people on the road, so you don't feel like scared as such. So I've had a real comfortable experience being a girl. So that's one thing that I had to share before starting my presentation. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about what I am doing and the other applications of mechanical engineering in medicine. So to start with, um, we all know the common applications of mechanical engineering. One is in aerospace industry or the manufacturing industry, where you produce parts or you design aeroplane components or you do analysis over those components. There's also supply chain management or logistics that comes under mechanical engineering. There's also the very famous automobile industry of cars that comes under mechanical engineering. Of lately, something that has been upcoming in the recent years is, of course, robotics. That comes as a branch between mechanical and electronics. It's also called mechatronics. So that is also another application of mechanical engineering. But what I would like to talk about is the application of mechanical in the medical industry and specifically the field I am in. So there's a slight difference between biomedical engineering and mechanical engineering in medicine. But I would just like to speak a little more about what I do and what are the other applications and other similar projects that go on in Queens. So that is what I'm going to talk about today. So with respect to mechanical engineering in medicine, that here are some of the examples of what can be done. First is, pacemakers are devices that help the heart to keep it running. So that is that is designed and made by a mechanical engineer, and of course in collaboration with a lot of other engineers and doctors. Designing prosthetics, designing the material for or figuring out the material used for prosthetics is another application. Robotic surgical assistance. So you might have heard of a term called laparoscopic surgery, where there are literally robotic arms that are inserted in the body that do the job, and surgeons basically control the robot which does the surgery. So this is another application. Designing X-ray machine, MRI scanner, CT scanner, these are also other applications. And lastly, computational studies is analyzing the effect of all of these on the human body through computational studies is also another application. So I will be getting back to computational studies a little more towards the end of my presentation. So from here, I would just like to talk about a field called tissue engineering, which I am specifically associated with. So that's basically the application of engineering to restore function of tissues, mainly tissues that don't regenerate. For example, your skin or your hair tends to regenerate. They tend to grow. So if you have a cut or a wound, the skin will grow back, or your hair grows forever. So those are regenerative tissues in your body. But then there are other tissues in your body that don't regenerate. For example, your knee cartilage, that does not regenerate. It only degenerates with age, which is what is arthritis. And I would just like to talk a little bit about my project here. So arthritis, as you might have heard, is a very common degenerative disease that mainly affects people of the older generation. It leads to the degeneration of the articular cartilage. So this is the cartilage that is present in between your femur and tibia bones of your knee. So as this cartilage degenerates with age, the bones tend to collide with each other, and that is what causes pain and discomfort. And the current treatment methods include injecting platelet-rich plasma, or sometimes they even remove the damaged cartilage and expose the bone marrow from within the bone to form a fresh cartilage at the site of the injury, but that cartilage is not as strong as what was there before. So all of these treatments give a really short-term benefit. They don't really benefit us in the long run, which is why there has been a progress in a field called tissue engineering. So the basic of tissue engineering is you acquire cells, for example, chondrocytes. So chondrocytes are cells that are primarily present in your cartilage. So these are derived from various sources, such as either bovine, porcine, or sometimes even the human cartilage. So you acquire these cells and you culture them externally. And then you devise or you make something called scaffolds, as you can see. So scaffolds are basically structures like honeycomb structures, or sometimes they are even squarish in nature, sometimes even circular in nature. So these scaffolds are made of biomaterials that tend to degrade in the body naturally without releasing any acidic byproducts. So what happens is when you put these cells in the scaffold and you insert that at the site of the injury in your cartilage, the scaffold provides enough mechanical strength to the articular cartilage to bear the body weight, and also provides nutrition to the cartilage to regenerate naturally. So as the scaffold degrades with time, it tends to form a new fresh cartilage at the site of the injury. So it eliminates any invasive surgeries, for example, a total knee replacement or any of those sort. So you tend to heal your body naturally rather than putting any artificial metal in your body. So this is basically my project, and I'm working on 3D printing these scaffolds using a medical grade polymer. So I will be characterizing these scaffolds for their tensile properties, their compressive properties, their degradation properties, because like I said, they are degradable materials. So this is basically an overview of my project and how my project, hopefully if I complete it, can maybe benefit someone having osteoarthritis in the future. So this is basically my area of expertise, following which I will just give an overview of the other applications of tissue engineering. So like cartilage tissue engineering, there's also bone tissue engineering, where you can aid in helping fractures or aid in regenerating bone without placing any metallic rod or titanium rod, as you might have heard in your body. So that's bone tissue engineering. There also, you might have heard of stents that are placed in the arteries in case there's an aneurysm. So these stents are normally metallic in nature. So now the upcoming field is to use these bioresorbable materials to help the aneurysm go away with time, but also not leaving behind any metallic residues in the body. There are also nerve grafts that are being now studied. There's skin tissue engineering, for example, in case of a major accident, sometimes they take the skin from other parts of your body to implant it on the part that has a severed skin. So skin tissue engineering is another application wherein they try to regrow or regenerate your skin right from the scratch. So these are the other applications of tissue engineering. Now, apart from this, I would just like to talk a bit about the application of computers or computational biomechanics. So, like I spoke about regenerative studies, for example, regenerative cartilage, this can also be simulated in a software. The most commonly used softwares are ANSYS, etc. Now, for example, one of my PhD project objectives is also to simulate this regeneration of the cartilage in a software and to check if my experimental data and the computational data match. So if they do, I will have a stronger conclusion. Another computational application is also studying human movement. For example, movement of the ankle or movement of the knee. These are also simulated just to understand what are all the muscles that go into it, what are all the forces or pressure that is applied on these areas. Another application of computational fluid dynamics. So basically, you study the fluid flow or the blood flow within the body using softwares. There's also surgery simulator. There's cardiovascular system studies. In the photos, you may see a lot of colorful images. For example, we just go from the top row. In the top left corner, that's the analysis of the cardiovascular system. In the middle, you see an image where they have analyzed the breath flow within the nose. And on the right, you see the image of a baby. That's basically a PhD project that is ongoing in our department where they are simulating childbirth to see how childbirth affects pelvic muscles in a woman. And in the bottom left, you see the image of a stent. Now, in the previous slide, I had shown the metallic image of a stent. Over here, they are analyzing how that stent actually affects the muscles and what sort of pressure and forces does it apply on the vein. And on the bottom right, there are just two images. It's of the same thing. It's from a project that I have undergone before. Basically, you might know that when you are admitted in a hospital, you have intravenous tubes that are inserted in your veins for fluid infusion or blood transfusion. Now, sometimes when these veins are inserted, when these catheters or when these tubes are inserted in your veins, they tend to clot, they tend to form a blood clot at the area of the insertion. So what sort of angle should the tube be inserted in order to reduce blood clot is a project that I had to undertake. So that is a computational study that I had undergone, and that's an image of that. So you can see the tube that is being inserted in the vein, and I had to simulate the blood flow and how the fluid from the tube merges with the blood and what causes blood flow, blood clots at the site of the insertion. So these are really interesting and maybe unheard of applications of mechanical engineering. And a lot of these projects are ongoing in our department, and I have honestly had a great experience doing my project in here, and I've had a lot of support from so many people. They have all been very helpful. Sometimes I ask the silliest of doubts, but they have always been very supportive about whatever I do and just making sure I have enough support to do my work. So with that said, I would just like to end my presentation. I thank you all for listening to me, and well, I hope I could give you a little bit of an insight in what I do.
Thank you so much, Shree. And it's so interesting to hear in detail about your research that you do.
Thank you.
I just have 5 more minutes, guys, to run you through those areas and just the entry requirements if you are interested in any of these, and then I'll pass it back to Fernanda. So is that okay, Fernanda, if there's 5 more minutes?
Yes, of course.
So bear with me, guys, for the logistics. So if you are, let me just find the right slide. So guys, if you are interested in applying to our cybersecurity masters, that Temi was able to speak to you about, we are looking for students who are interested in this course are going to have an extremely strong background in maths, with strong elements in maths in their undergraduate, but as well as that, of course, in computer and computer programming. We're looking for students with an equivalent to a 2-1 in backgrounds such as computer science, electronical and electrical engineering, software development, software engineering, and computer engineering. As I was saying, it is a really prestigious master's to get on. It's quite difficult to get onto. It's a small enough cohort as well. So again, students with a really strong maths background and a computer programming background as well. For those of you who would be interested in a mechanical engineering with management course, what is really great about this course is that it actually was developed as a result of there being a lack of mechanical engineers in the UK employment industry with management experience. So this course has 50% in the modules are technical and 50% are commercial, as you can see here. So it really is for students who have a strong background in engineering. You need to have a 2-2 equivalent for this one, slightly less than the 2-1. And as I was saying, it really does provide students who have a strong technical background, but are looking to move into project management or management in general within engineering to really enhance their professional capabilities and their softer skills, and also their business analyst and their commercial awareness and their product development as well. For those of you who might be interested in construction and project management, this course has completely closed for September 21 entry. It is our most popular course, and we are looking for students with a 2-2 equivalent for entry, and we take students onto this course from a much wider area. So if you can demonstrate that you have the capabilities, you may even come from a social science background, a planning background, architecture, engineering, or any of those general built environment. But again, we're looking for students who are wanting to understand the construction sphere, but as well as that, maybe you are more interested in project management. So it's not all just about the construction sphere. You will also look on procurement and contracts, construction law, and different smaller BIM projects. So using business information modeling, softwares and platforms. We have had students come out of this master's who don't even go into construction. They go into architecture, they work in architecture, they may work for councils, they may work in general project management, and we've even had students come out and going into set design on Game of Thrones, which is really interesting. Moving across then to more specialist programs. So sorry, I should have mentioned, guys, all 3 of those programs that I mentioned, cybersecurity, mechanical engineering with management, and construction and project management can be taken as a 1-year program, or they can be taken as a 2-year program where your 2nd year is spent in an industrial or professional placement. There are no tuition fees for that year. You will be earning as an employee of a company. So it's a really advantageous year. It's a 2-year joint master's. Your visa covers both of the years, or you may only be interested in the 1-year pathway. These programs are specialist programs. Moving on, they only have 1-year options. So data analytics, we are looking for students with a really strong maths background, with a 2-2 equivalent, and you may have a strong physics background, maths background, or statistics background. And again, obviously, with the amount of data that we are collecting, mining in today's climate, we have students graduating from this course and going into literally every single area of the economy, whether it's corporate, whether it's the health sector, whether it's government, whether it's foreign policy, any of those. There is a whole, and then of course corporate as well, there is a whole breadth of areas that our students are graduating into. Again, this course is already closed for September 21, but we are taking applications for September 22. We then have 2 Masters in City Planning and Design. We ask for students again to have a 2-2 equivalent in this, and this again has a very broad entry requirements. And again, we take architecture, engineering, social, and students are going on to work in corporate and private planning companies, but as well as that, they're also going on to work in councils. The next 2 courses are from our School of Psychology. Both of them require a 2-1. They are also quite difficult and prestigious to get onto. We have a very highly ranked School of Psychology here in Queen's, and we require students to have a 2-1 equivalent in their undergraduate. Both of these courses in Applied Developmental Psychology looks at atypical and typical childhood upbringings, and our Masters in Clinical Health Psychology again requires a background in psychology with a minimum 2-1 equivalent in psychology. Both of these masters are very specialist. They will provide you with a competitive edge to go on and apply for your doctorate in clinical psychology if that is what you're interested in. But they've got a very strong research focus. So you will be looking at research, at presenting data, and at analysing data as well. The last courses I'm going to speak to you about are our conversion courses. These are a type of master programme that is very new to the globally, but there's something that the UK have been doing for the last number of years. These conversion courses require all students to have a 2-1 equivalent undergraduate, but they offer you an opportunity to completely change your career path. So we offer them in psychology, in city planning and design, planning and development, and in software development. And they, as I said, don't require you to have any background knowledge. So for example, if you are interested in software development, which has a close to 100% graduate prospect and employability after 1-year rating, we don't ask for you to have any experience in software development or in programming or in computer science. So they really do offer you the opportunity to completely change your career path. And they're pretty much 1 3-year undergraduate program in the space of 1 year. So it's a very intense course. And as I was saying, we have them in psychological sciences, planning and development, and also in software development. All of our courses are accredited, as I said. And then just moving quickly on before we finish onto our fees. So as I was saying, Queen's University is a Russell Group university. Our fees are going to be higher. However, they are the most competitive fees from any Russell Group university in the UK. So you'll see here PGT is what each of you will be most interested in. They're starting in and around 17,700 for construction and psychology, and then 21,400 for everything else. As I was saying, for those of you who are interested in the 2-year programme, that is a non-fee paying year. There's an admin fee of £870. And there are other scholarships that you will be automatically entitled to as an international student, which the government have secured for us. So hopefully I have a slide on those. I don't. But those scholarships will be automatically tagged onto your tuition, and they are to the value of £2,000 or £3,000. So you could be having a master's degree for around 15,000 to 17,000 GDP, which is about 20,000 US dollars. So it is a really competitive tuition fee. Guys, that is all of us that is everything from us today. It was a pleasure to speak to you and to give you a bit of an insight into the faculty and the things that our students are researching on and learning, and the type and the areas that we're learning on. I would be more than happy to take any questions from you. I hope you found the sort of Queen's experience an enjoyable experience, and that is everything from me today. If you do have any questions, please do let us know. I know Fernanda is able to read those for us, and we can answer those for you.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Anna, for your lovely presentation, and so we could be able to see students and their experience. I think it was a great way of getting to know a bit more about the program. So as Anna said, I ask you to please write any questions you might have in the chat box above. If any of you have any problems with English and want me to translate the questions to Anna, it would be my pleasure. And just to remind you that with Innova Education, you can apply, we can help you applying for Queen's University Belfast to their School of Engineering and Physical Science, and we will be more than happy to do so. We can help you with your visa process, and all of this is for free. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Anna. That was really great. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you, Fernanda, and thanks to all the students. And Fernanda, you know that I'm here as well in country, so if any of the students have questions afterwards, then I'm more than happy to help them, as you know. So really appreciate your time, Anna, and obviously the students who helped out as well. Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Okay, perfect. We have our first questions. What is the acceptance rate of Mexicans in the engineering faculty of the university?
If Simon's still with us, he would be able to have the specific rate of entrance of Mexicans. We do have some. It is not that we have not got a large number of Latin American students and Central American students and North American students. But it is something that we would love to sort of create more connections with. And I know that we definitely have some applications, especially to our cybersecurity masters, where they're already offer holders for this year. So our numbers of Latin American, Central American and North American students is growing every single year. And we hope it will continue to grow as students start to move towards the UK as opposed to the US from your sort of areas. But if Simon does have specific numbers.
I mean, basically we have about 50 or 60 applicants this year from Mexico. Obviously, of course, not all of them are for engineering programs. So, but this has grown substantially from last year. And we're probably going to have, I would say, in the engineering faculty, probably sort of Mexicans around sort of 5 plus, hopefully in September. So we're, you know, because remember that engineering is just one of the faculties. So it's good, really. Mexican students have the opportunity to actually borrow money through Forned. We also have an agreement with CONICET where we have a 30% discount for students on who manage to get the CONICET scholarship. And so we have some really good basically really good benefits of applying to Queen's from Mexico. And for students in other countries, we have agreements all around Latin America with Conabet, with Confuturo, and many others, basically. So that's fantastic. So that, I mean, I haven't got an exact number, but the acceptance rate would be quite high. But also they're quite transparent on the entry requirements. If you're able to get 85% in your undergraduate degree, plus you had a good level of English at 6.5 IELTS or equivalent, then you'd have a very good chance. And I think as long as you completed the application form in the right way and Queen's admission staff saw your potential, then you'd have a very good chance of being offered a place.
Yeah, and something else that I'd also like to add, you know, Latin American students North and Central, I know you're from a large part of the world, you often have really, really high English. your speaking English as your second language is often very high. We have to, because of our visa, ask all students to still do an English exam, but we are very flexible on the number of different English language exams that you can take. So you don't just need to take TOEFL or IELTS. There's a number of different exams, including Duolingo. So I know this year with COVID, it's quite difficult to maybe access the assessment centres. So we are accepting more and more exams that you can take online just from your home desktop. But we do always ask for all of our students, every single international student, to provide their English language qualifications, even if you are from a largely English-speaking international country.
Perfect, thank you. We have our next questions. When will we receive the video? That's a question for me. We will be sending this recording of the session maybe tomorrow, maybe today. It depends, but we will be sending it via email. Also, if you want to check the videos we have, the sessions we have had, you can check our Facebook. We upload every session we have in there. Next questions. Does the university also give a discounts if we only get PUNED or FIDER?
Is FUNED or FIDER, Fernanda?
Sorry, I'm just reading.
Yeah, that was a question for Simon.
Yes, so basically, we're actually in the process of signing an agreement with FIDER. That would be 20%. FUNED is 30% at the moment, as is CONICET. We have an agreement with FUNED. We have an agreement with CONICET. We are in the process of getting an agreement with FIDER, and hopefully that will be ready very soon.
And guys, we also have, if you are, if an offer is made to you, and you are able to demonstrate scholarship funding that you've secured, we will, myself and Simon will definitely work hard to have the university waive deposits where you have secured scholarships. So, you know, we are really excited to work with you guys and be flexible and really advocate on your behalf to ensure that we do make it possible for you to take up your offer where you are granted one.
That's great to know. Okay, so now Edson has a question. I would like to know the opportunities for a Peruvian student to get a scholarship in construction and project management with industrial internship.
So other than, I can speak obviously on behalf of our own scholarships that we have. As I mentioned, we are able to offer a £3,000 or £2,000 reduction in fees for international students moving on to that programme. And we're also able to offer different 15% reductions if you pay by a certain date. We also have a Vice Chancellor's fully funded scholarship that you're more than welcome to apply for. There are a number that are given out each year and they are fully funded. They're extremely prestigious. And other than that, the government scholarships that you would be applying for, I wouldn't have complete knowledge of, but I know that the opportunities are there. We do have scholarship students, fully funded scholarship students. So as I was mentioned, if you are able to get an offer, then get a scholarship, we will really work hard with you to ensure that we are flexible and that we help you secure and arrive in the country.
Perfect, thank you, Anna. Okay, so I think those are all the questions we have for the session. I just want to thank you, Simon and Anna, for coming here with us today, and everyone who joined the session. Thank you for being here with us. And here in the screen, you can see my email if you want to contact me to start your process to applying for the School of Engineering and Physical Science with Queen's University Belfast. We will be more than happy to help you. And yes, I guess that's it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks again. Everyone. Thanks, Anna. I understand there were 15 students, Jack's just let me know. And that's amazing, you know, that's a really good attendance. So thanks ever so much. I know it was quite late in the UK, but it's definitely had an effect. And you've obviously, the students have, I think, really enjoyed the presentation. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. And yes, it is nighttime here. So good evening to us and Have a good rest of day where you are.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.